Watch how crazy perspective is. I can't believe I'm a 46-year-old single mom raising a teenager and have to work 2 jobs to afford living in this expensive city, Vancouver. I feel so overwhelmed, overworked, and on the go all the time, working between full-time at a health clinic and teaching on the weekend, and then finding time to make these videos late at night, so pretty much get 0 time to rest or any downtime.
Got a few of them. Anyways, it became very evident as to why I don't date or have any interest in it right now, I think, because I have 0 help. Okay. I was driving to go get some medicine for her from the store and thinking, wow, it would be really freaking nice if someone would just be like, hey, can I grab that for you? Hey, do you need anything? I mean, my mom did, and she always does, but I'm not making her drive 25 minutes and getting sick. So there's that. It's fine, but it just makes it very apparent, like, if you're not bringing things to the table, I don't have room at my table right now.
Madam, you are a single mother. You bring a full child to the table, and here you are saying that men need to provide something to you. Guys, I've been seeing a lot of these videos recently where, women will be single mothers. Okay, we are at record level stupid statistics here of households consisting of single mothers, but you have them making these videos talking about how their life is tough, and, a man needs to come in and start paying her bills and save her, or else she's going to give up on dating. So this woman has given up on dating, which I find to be absolutely hilarious. But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with some nonsense videos. And on today's episode, we are going to be kicking it off with a clip from this woman who, let's jump into it right here, is giving up on dating essentially because men don't want to provide for her, which is crazy, by the way. So we go out here, we have a child to some random dude, and now we try and continue dating, but we only want to date. In fact, we've given up on it because men don't want to pay for our child. Crazy, guys. The level of entitlement. Let's jump in. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Let's take a listen.
My house is down with the sickness. Not me. Thank God. Because if we both had what she's got going on, it would be a nightmare in here. This is my first meal of the day. Leftover ribeye from last night that I cooked, and then 2 eggs. I'm trying the new mango Italian ice protein. It's clear I'll be launching Friday. It's very sweet, very sweet. So if you don't love sweet things, I'm gonna try it with 20 ounces of water next and maybe some fresh lime or something. It's good, it's just super sweet. And
can you guys tell pretty much as soon as we jump into these videos, by the way, the women who are single, it's very, very obvious by the way they conduct themselves and by the way they talk and things like this. Obviously, this woman is going to be single. Obviously, men don't want to have a relationship with this person. It's funny because she's talking about what she's eating for the day, but she already sounds like she's actually nagging you. You could just hear it. It's like the way this woman talks, even if it's about ordinary, everyday things, is just incredibly aggressive, I would say. And these are the women who are sitting here saying that men need to bring resources to the table. If you're not providing anything, then I don't have room at my table right now. Meanwhile, she'll go out there and she'll hook up with some dude and have a kid to a random guy who isn't in the picture anymore, whether she shoved him out or he wasn't a good father.
And I got this on backup, ready to open up, but I tell myself I've got to do 20 ounces of water before I have a Diet Coke. Goals, got a few of them. Anyways, it became very evident as to why I don't date or have any interest in it right now, I think, because I have 0 help. Okay. I was driving to go get some medicine for her from the store and thinking, wow, it would be really freaking nice if someone would just be like, hey, can I grab that for you? Hey, do you need anything? I mean, my mom did, and she always does, but I'm not making her drive 25 minutes and getting sick.
Notice how when this woman starts to talk about relationships, the first thing that she immediately then, links it to is the tasks that people have to do for her. It is crazy. Oh, I'm no longer dating. I've given up on dating. And then she immediately links it to the fact that, well, she needs people to do like grocery runs for her. She needs someone to be picking up medicine. She needs somebody to be running around doing errands for her. And it's just crazy, man, how men are expected to fill in for this, right? We're expected to run the errands, pay the bills, look after her, bring a lot to the table. And what do men get in return if they do these things? Well, they get the possibility, guys, the ever so exciting possibility of ending up with a single mother, which, again, the child, not biologically yours. It's to some other random dude who, by the way, she's probably still attached to. But even if she isn't, the kid isn't even yours anyway. You have no authority in the household. You're essentially going to be treated like an ATM and a dispenser for miscellaneous tasks that she wants you to do. This is a complete scam for dudes, and they treat it like, well, you know, men have to put in extra effort because now I have self-respect. It's like, no, you don't. You just have a child. That's what you're bringing to the table. A literal child that does not belong to the man.
I mean, my mom did, and she always does, but I'm not making her drive 25 minutes and getting sick. So there's that. It's fine, but it just makes it very apparent, like, if you're not bringing things to the table, I don't have room at my table right now.
Oh no, guys, the single mother, she doesn't have room at her table. And you see, all this has to do with is obtaining resources and obtaining, you know, a man who will be around to do things for her. This is where dudes get really mistaken sometimes. The guys are a little bit naive. They don't understand what's going on here. The women don't actually love the men in this situation whatsoever. They simply do not. The men only exist there to do things for her. This is why, you know, you go with one of these women, they'll treat you like trash, they will disrespect you, there'll be no intimacy, and so on and so forth, is because they're not attracted to you and they don't respect you. The dude is simply only there for the resources. If she was not a single mother, I guarantee you she would be back out there hitting up the clubs still, or chasing the bad boys and things like this. The behavior that got her to this situation is still there. And so any subsequent man that comes along and actually provides for her, she's going to feel like she is settling, and she's going to disrespect that dude.
You're not bringing things to the table. I don't have room at my table right now. I'm organizing my bathroom. I have boxes in my bathroom from when I moved in a year ago. Obviously, it's stuff I don't need. I'm going through a ton of crap, organizing new shelving system things. Again, because I can't leave the bedroom because my baby needs me and I want to be there. So
what's the bet, by the way, that this house is hers, or excuse me, was the dude's house and she ended up getting it? Or what's the bet she's receiving, you know, child support and things like this? But of course, we need more assistance from men. The fact that women can go out here, have a child with a dude, bounce, and then decide to collect resources is absolutely insane. It incentivizes women to put no effort whatsoever into actually choosing the man that they are going to have a kid with. Because one of two situations typically happens. Either A, she goes out here and she has a child with a man who is obviously not really interested in long-term commitment and having a child. Or B, she goes out here, she has a kids or a kid with a dude, and then she kicks him out of the family unit because she knows that she can be rewarded for doing so. In any case, guys, the fact that women are rewarded for sabotaging their families is insane to me that it even exists. But it certainly seems to me like the government has an agenda to honestly break up the nuclear family at this point, because why on earth would they incentivize such a thing if that wasn't actually their end goal?
Again, because I can't leave the bedroom because my baby needs me and I want to be there. So she's bathed, she's hydrated, she is in new pajamas, and she's watching a movie, eating some blueberries. I think we've got it under control for the day. Happy Sunday.
Can you guys imagine, right? This is what you do with your life. You jump on here and you record TikTok videos talking about how you no longer want to date because you're a single mother. I simply do not understand this. Like, they record these things, right? They could have private conversations with their family and friends, although I'm kind of skeptical on the whole friends thing there. They could have these discussions privately, but they just have to post it publicly so that literally anybody can see these videos. I find it to be super weird, super creepy. I don't know why people feel the need to share such details about their life and their children on the internet to complete strangers. But maybe, guys, you know, maybe I'm just getting a little bit old, because it seems to me like people just some people, man, particularly modern day women, just don't seem to value their privacy whatsoever. Everything's just on the internet. You can find out absolutely everything about them. And it's completely ridiculous, man, because dudes look at this, by the way, and they're like, well, why would I have a relationship with this woman if all of my details are essentially just going to be leaked on the internet whenever she feels to have a random discussion with a bunch of random people on a given Tuesday? It's stupid. Let's continue into this next clip here. This one is an epidemic of single mothers apparently is happening. Let's take a listen.
Of babies that are being born right now are being born to single mothers.
I think she said 40%. Let's go back a second here. I think she said 40% of children are being born to quote-unquote families of single mothers.
40% of babies that are being born right now are being born to single mothers. 40%. I saw this in a video and I was like, there's no way. It can't be that high. It can't be that bad. Society can't be that bad right now.
Honestly, if you told me that it was above 40%, I would be half inclined to believe you, to be honest. It has gotten really, really bad. You see, back in the day, guys, if someone was a single mother, usually it was because this person was a widow, because, you know, being a single mother was something that was incredibly frowned upon. But nowadays, guys, it's incredibly common. Women can file for divorces and get separated simply because they have irreconcilable differences, and before you know it, she's taking your crap. So single mothers, you know, not only is there a huge incentive to do this, society just treats it like it's totally fine, totally normal, totally okay. I don't think that this is a result of good decision making. I don't think it's healthy for the child. I don't think it's healthy for society. The only person who benefits is the woman who gets to scam the dude and take his resources. The government probably also benefits because then they don't have to subsidize the woman. They just figure, hey, let's just screw over the man some more, make him pay resources so that we don't have to pay out-of-pocket resources. You see what I'm saying? So dude gets screwed over, women and government win, society and the man loses.
And I Googled it, and there you have it. 40% outside of wedlock. I am so scared for the future. If we think our society is weak now, imagine all these kids that are being raised right now by single moms and what that's going to create for the future. Most of the people that are in jail were raised by a single mom. Why is having a baby taken so lightly these days? This is the biggest decision that you will ever make in your life.
Well, because they have to, you know, they don't have to take this decision seriously. They can go out here, they can have a kid to some random guy, they can choose to not use protection correctly and then just blame it on that very, very small chance, but we all know what they were doing, okay? Completely stupid. These people cannot use contraception, they refuse to do it properly. Absolute clowns. So they go out here, they do this, they have a kid to some random dude or some guy that, you know, maybe wasn't around for the long haul. Okay, so she has a child with a dude who she didn't really consider as a father for the child, and then she has a child, and then here we go. Women are not incentivized to make good decisions in their partner whatsoever. Absolutely not. Or at least the father of their kid. And so what happens is they have the kid, they ditch the father because they're incentivized to, and they can get resources from doing so. And then they go out there and they become single mothers, and everybody claps them on the back for it. This is absolutely stupid. First step would be removing the cash and prizes that women receive as a result of doing this. And also, you know, a lot of girls say, my body, my choice, but they treat this whole getting rid of children thing like it's just every other Tuesday and it's a quote-unquote right that they should have. They take no discretion in the types of men that they are choosing to have kids with, and I'm supposed to feel empathy for them. Absolutely not, guys. You know, this is like me getting intoxicated, getting behind the wheel of a car, driving it, falling off a cliff, damaging myself and my vehicle, and then complaining that there wasn't a guardrail there. It's ridiculous.
Having a baby and who you will have the baby with. Stop having kids out of wedlock. If you don't think the person is good enough to marry, then why would that person be good enough to have a baby with?
I think that's actually a really good point. This woman made a fantastic point here. You know, hey, why are you having children, essentially, to dudes who are not really in it for the long haul, with men that you cannot see yourself being with long term? Like, let's be real about it, guys. A lot of these women, they're going out here, they're clubbing, they're hooking up with bad boys, and then they regret it afterwards. Or, you know, they have like, they have a relationship, but clearly the kids are not going to be in the picture anytime soon, or shouldn't be. And they just immediately have kids with the guy. I mean, I've seen women who push into their 30s do this, by the way. they just seemingly accidentally have a kid to some dude who they had a short-term relationship with, and then they just boot him out because she was approaching the time when she could no longer have kids, and so she used this guy to have children. It's so stupid. And then they have the audacity to get on the internet and complain about being a single mother like it wasn't an active decision that they chose to make. Completely insane. So let's continue into this next clip here. This is a bit of a different one. I don't think this woman's actually complaining. So this is a single mother working 2 jobs to survive, I believe, and she's going to be coping a little bit, I believe. So let's jump in and see what she has to say. Where are we? There we are.
Watch how crazy perspective is. I can't believe I'm a 46-year-old single mom raising a teenager and have to work 2 jobs to afford living in this expensive city, Vancouver. I feel so overwhelmed, overworked, and on the go all the time, working between full-time at a health clinic and teaching on the weekend, and then finding time to make these videos late at night, so I pretty much get 0 time to rest or any downtime.
Just by the way, so she's going to describe a perspective clip here in a second, so she'll frame it differently in a more positive light. But I have certainly seen women make videos where they say things like this, and I just have absolutely no empathy whatsoever. And the reason why is because, number one, they put themselves in this situation. Nobody forced you to do this. Second of all, you know, you're out here working 2 jobs and it's very difficult to raise a child alone. Yeah, it's almost like raising a child is not a one-person job. Let's not get confused here. A lot of the children who brought up by single mothers, the father is not in the picture. A lot of these children end up getting incarcerated, or at least there's a far higher likelihood of them being incarcerated if they're male. If they're female, they have a far higher likelihood of ending up in, you know, spicy industries, shall we say, that they probably shouldn't end up in, and so on. There's a lot of issues that come as a result to the child as a result of being raised in a single mother household. Now, comparatively, as far as I understand it, single fathers seem to do a lot better, probably because they can actually discipline their child. A lot of single mothers cannot discipline their child whatsoever, and that's why the dude was in the picture, right? Fathers are supposed to be there to, you know, to provide discipline and boundaries and things like this. Single mothers, oftentimes, they really cannot do this, right? They cannot as easily fulfill the role of a disciplinarian, and so the kid grows up in a very roundabout way, shall we say. Let's continue.
Time. Now watch this. I'm 46 years old and never felt better. I'm lucky to be a mom of a lively, happy, healthy teenager and get to afford living in this beautiful city, Vancouver. I'm blessed to have not just 1 job, but 2 great jobs. 1 full-time at a health clinic and teaching at a university on the weekends. And then I get to post all these videos inspiring hundreds and thousands of people in between.
Just by the way, you know, I personally think that's cope. I don't think single mothers really want to be working 2 jobs so that they can barely afford to live in a city to raise their child alone. You know, you can frame it however you want. At the end of the day, this is not a good situation, and I think she's lying to herself. So that's first of all. So second of all, this woman has a kid who's a teenager. She gets on here, she posts these videos. I don't know why women feel the need to do this, to document their life in such a way, man. I personally don't understand it. I have no desire to put, you know, such degrees of my personal life on the internet. I'm probably sure that many of you guys in the comments are the same. But we have just 46-year-old women out here on a random given Tuesday, and they just post these videos, and like I don't know why, guys. I assume it's just for attention, for validation and things like this, but I would rather do so many other things than do this, personally.
And I get to post all these videos inspiring hundreds and thousands of people in between.
Just by the way, also, I don't think that this kind of content is inspiring. I think it's pretty damn grotesque, to be honest with you. Being a single mother and especially working 2 jobs to barely afford to be able to live to take care of this kid, not particularly inspiring, to be honest. I don't think that anyone should aspire to raise a child by themselves. Now, obviously, again, if you have someone, you had a kid with them, and then your significant other passes away, that's a little bit different, but that's in the minority of cases.
I get energized by seeing your beautiful comments and messages every day and excited to wake up every day for a new day and a new inspiration. I mean, who would have ever thought? Perspective is everything. It's everything.
Yeah, guys, perspective is everything. So let me just quickly share a different perspective here. You know, this might be a little bit affronting to some viewers. Check this out. Being a single mother is hell. Okay, and this is a subreddit. I've recently seen a lot of these Reddit posts pop up, and this is from a subreddit quite literally called r/regretful parents. I don't know why there's 150,000 people in here. Absolutely insane. But a lot of them, you know, there's many different threads like this where they are talking about being a single mother. And let me just say this, they certainly do not like it. So I wanted to jump in and show you guys a little bit of this one because I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. So let's jump in. Being a single mother is hell. First of all, I want to thank all of the fellow parents on here because this sub is getting me through a very dark time. I wouldn't say I regret having my daughter who is 7 years old because I love her more than anything. I genuinely like her personality about 75% of the time, but doing this alone feels like torture. Now, this is something that we saw in the video from the woman who tried to make it a bit positive, guys, but a lot of these women don't want to be raising kids on their own. Like they don't find it particularly easy, even if men are giving them resources because the government requires them to do so. They still require more men to pitch in and help them, which is absolutely ridiculous. So check this out. Her dad is a narcissistic addict who has recently relapsed. So it is just me and her 24/7 now with no breaks. She has become extremely defiant recently, usually in the evenings, but sometimes mornings before school too. Bedtime is the worst. She becomes overactive, fights her sleep, and seems to take pleasure in making me furious. I feel the most overwhelming rage I have experienced as an adult several times a week. I scare myself and I hate myself for it. So begins the pointless thought loop of she'd be better off without me, except she wouldn't because there is nobody else to look after her. So let me get this straight, guys. This woman here, for example, let's just assume what she says is true. Okay, let's just run with it. She decides to have a child with a narcissistic addict. Am I supposed to feel empathy for people like this, guys? I truly don't understand it. They go out here, they make such terrible decisions with the men that they have children with, and then they cry on Reddit, they cry on the internet, and they're like, oh, my life is so horrible, it's so terrible. Nobody forced you to have a child with this man. And every single woman you say that to, guys, I guarantee you they'll be like, you don't know my story. You know, my situation is different. Yeah, all of these women, guys, complete snowflakes, unique snowflakes, right? All of their situations are incredibly unique and different, and we don't know these women personally, guys. So how dare we judge is usually the argument that is being made. But I think it's really important for people to judge. I don't care if you're a man. I don't care if you're a woman. I don't care whatever the hell you think you are. I think judgment is an incredibly important thing to have, especially if you are braving trying to go out there and date. I know a lot of guys refuse to do that. Don't blame them. But, you know, judgment is very, very important in my opinion. I don't care. Again, if you're a woman, it's good to judge dudes, especially if you're considering having a child with them. Probably good to actually use some judgment there. And I think it's also important for dudes to exercise judgment as well. Let's continue. I always thought I'd be a good mother, but for some reason, never had much of a bond with my own mother, who I grew up feeling hated by, but how wrong I was. I barely have the energy to do the absolute minimum. I take her to clubs, play dates, parties, try to create some positive childhood memories for her to counteract the horrible ones, but I honestly find little joy in life now. I feel no excitement for a future where she may finally realize how crap I am and rightfully start to dislike me. My goodness, man. My goodness. It is a painfully lonely journey having no one to share parenting with. I haven't been able to find a new partner due to PTSD from my ex. Now, guys, like, color me a little bit skeptical here, okay? But whenever women use the word PTSD, particularly people like single mothers, I'm always very skeptical. Like, the first thing I think of when I hear this terminology is people who go out there and, you know, fight wars, or they served in the military or something. They go through something incredibly damning, and then they, you know, they might have PTSD as a result of that. But these women, guys, it's like they can go out here, be treated quote unquote poorly by a guy, in their own words. Whether or not that's true is a different question, and then say that they have PTSD. I don't know. I'm color me skeptical, gentlemen. Color me skeptical. She says, I have dated, but continuously find I end up running from anyone who tries to get too close. I have tried psychotherapy, energy healing, whatever the hell that is, past life regression therapy, whatever the hell that is, quantum freedom healing, positive, what are we talking about? Transcendental meditation. I think I found this woman's problem. She's a complete nut job. I don't know what these words even mean, guys. Are we just making stuff up at this point? Quantum freedom healing, positive affirmations. Okay, I understand what this one is. I don't know what regression therapy is. I don't know what quantum freedom healing is. I don't know what transcendental meditation is. I don't know what 12-step groups are. Holy hell. All to try and move on from the trauma of my narcissistic ex and be open to new love. But so far, none of it has worked. My parents do help when they can, but they've both got chronic pain, so it's hard for them. She also messes them about too, so I feel guilty about asking. She behaves like an angel for her father because she is scared of him. Guys, let me just pitch something a little bit different here. Maybe this guy isn't as awful as she's painting him out to be. Maybe she took the child, and maybe the child behaves well for him because the child actually likes him. I don't know. Just throwing that one out there. Just going to toss that out there. Maybe the narcissistic ex is not so narcissistic. I have seen, by the way, guys, throughout my life, I have seen so many dudes be called a narcissistic ex and a terrible person and all of these sorts of things. And then you go and talk with the man, you hang out with him for a bit, and he's completely and utterly normal. The woman's a complete psychopath. She's out here throwing around terms like narcissist and things like this. Meanwhile, she's the one that's taken away his kids from him. And the dude's incredibly hurt oftentimes. Like, these women just throw around the word narcissist like it's absolutely nothing. I'm always more inclined to believe that whoever is throwing around the word narcissistic and narcissist, they are probably, ironically enough, the ones who are actually the problem. So, blah, blah, blah. The only thing he was good for was to be used as a threat for telling her off. But now I don't even have that because he is missing. My friend took his okay, I'm not reading that. That is, whoa, rough. The weight of this is indescribable. I feel like I'm failing, and no matter what I do, nothing is ever good enough. Some days are harder than others. This evening has been particularly horrendous. Thanks to anyone who has read this far. Holy hell. And guys, like, it gets even worse, right? So there's 121 upvotes on this thing, 21 comments. And then you have women who, check this out. First comment. I have PTSD from my ex as well. Next one. I felt this to my core. Next one. My mother raised my brother and I alone. Next one here. These are all different usernames, by the way, right? Next one. I have PTSD from my ex too. Wow, these women guys out here making quality decisions. Hey, if these men are so awful, why are we having children with them? That's the thing that really gets me, is like every single one of these situations, they just try and make it like, oh, I just didn't know, it came out of left field, it came from completely nowhere. And I'm sure there are dudes who flip a switch one day and they change, but more often than not, I don't usually think that this is the case whatsoever. I think that modern women are very, very bad at selecting the men that they have children with. And even if they are good, they just throw away the good guys anyway because they're boring and they don't need his resources because they can get it through the government extracting it from him for them. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.